Hello, everybody. My name is Sarmat Shehbaz and I'm from Pakistan. And today we welcome you to another episode of Let's Talk Resilience, the one stop podcast by the youth for the youth and as the part of the Global Youth Summit Bridging Program, hosted by Group 1, where we explore the path to building resilience in the post COVID 19 era. I am your co host, Sarmat from Pakistan.
And I'm your co-host, Kamala Usmanova from Uzbekistan. And today we delve into a critical aspect of resilience, the role of digital literacy in building resilience.
So, with this, we will start with very crucial question like what is resilience and how we can deal with the resilience and the digital literacy in the post-COVID era. Kamala, I have a couple of questions which we have enlisted as a part of the Global Youth Summit's bridging program, and we would like to know how you tackle this question as the context of Uzbekistan and as the context of the global world. So let's get right into it. So, Kamala,
Mhm.
how would you define
Well, I consider resilience as a state of quick recovery after difficulties. So it is the capability to adjust and adapt to the post-crisis times. And Sarmat, in your perspective, what is resilience?
Exactly. So I actually like your version of resilience, and mine is quite similar to it. However, I see resilience as flexibility and adaptability. No matter how much crisis we have gone through, or how much the catastrophes we have gone through, but we as a human being or as a human society come back to the same shape by one way or another.
Yes, that is very great. And so, what do you think? What role can digital literacy play in building resilience after COVID-19?
Firstly, Kamala, thanks for this is a really important question. Before answering your question, I would like to define the digital literacy or the digital media in the current scenario. I would say that digital literacy is anything that is actually that keeps the human being involved into the digital era or into the digital stuff like computers, like social media, like digital news, everything that is about the digital literacy. However, the knowledge of the people to use this skillful digital literate knowledge that they have adapted, it is really important for the resilience after the post covid era, because we have seen this in the covid and even after this whole pandemic around the world that the digital literacy has become a necessary tool for survival. And Kamala, with this I have another question for you. How
Mhm.
do you how do you see it, like how crucial is resilience in your community?
Well, I think creating resilience is very important for the development of the communities and also the countries too. And as it is a common knowledge, COVID-19 posed great challenge to the humanity as a whole. And even though these problems were present before COVID, these issues escalated even more and required an instant care in the times of pandemic and also after the pandemic. So to withstand the obstacle generated after health crisis and building resilience is very important for the sustainable development of the communities.
Exactly. It is
And
really important for the sustainable development. I totally agree with you.
yes, it is very important. So you have said that digital literacy is an important aspect to create resilience in the community. So in which ways digital literacy can create resilience?
Yeah. So digital literacy can be really helpful in creating resilience in multiple ways. Like, for example, if I give the example of Pakistan, or even if I give the example of whole South Asia, digital literacy has been a component in getting the world connected. So in the post-COVID area, or even in the pandemic time, I would say that digital literacy was the thing that kept us connected. It was I would say a soulful tool that kept us connected. We used to talk to each other, and this was all because we the generation Z, like you and I and a lot of other people like us, they knew how to use computers, and they knew how to use smartphones, and they knew how to use social media. However, on the other side, the I would say baby boomers and the millennials of the past times were unable to be that much connected. because they didn't know the digital, how to use the digital stuff, how to relate them with each other, how to do the video call or how to do the Zoom conferencing, right? So this is how I see
Yes.
it is a really important. These are some of the important aspects, digital literacy gives for the resilience.
Yes, I do agree with you at this point.
Perfect. Perfect. So, Kamala, I'm really interested in knowing one thing. So, in Uzbekistan and around the world, what is the perception about the digital media? What do you think about it?
Well, actually, after the COVID-19, the digitalization process was fast-tracked, and it was very conspicuous, especially in developing countries, as I've said. And it was everywhere from education to the public services, and it permeated into every aspect of human life. And therefore, it was very important to acquire digital and media literacy skills.
Yeah, that's true. That it has acquired literally everything, every single thing. I totally agree with you on that.
Okay, Sarmat, I have another question for you. So,
Mm-hmm.
in your opinion, what measures should be taken to make people more digitally literate?
Mhm. This is actually a solution-oriented question because ah, it,
Yes.
it is really a hard question, I would say, Kamala. But this is quite, a point to ponder about. We but what we can do right now is to how to make people digitally literate is that we can include the course from the primary level, the first thing. And the second thing is this, that we can use people person to person. There is this concept of people to people, P2P, where people can help other people in knowing one thing. So, for example, I am Sarmat. I have my parents at my home, and my parents do not know how to use Facebook or how to use Instagram, TikTok, any other, or for example, Zoom if they are using it. So, what we can do is that we can develop a kind of education or a transformation of, or I would say, a translation of education from one person to another. Alongside this, I would say that to actually remove this hurdle of digital illiteracy, we can use a counter narrative of the media how to educate them. Like in Pakistan, I can give you the example of for example, in the government, they have been educating people via videos, via YouTube lectures, and different demos from where people can learn about digital literacy. Like in a way, if you do not know how to use Zoom, for example, then there is a whole series
Yes.
about it, like 2 to 3 episodes where people can easily learn. But with all this, there are two things that people actually need before starting this. The first one is a good laptop or a smartphone from where they can actually start their learning, and the second one is the internet connection. With this, I would say
Yes.
people.
Yes, I think they are very viable solutions that you have proposed.
Mhm, mhm.
And
Yeah,
also, I think there should be training centers in the neighborhoods, in the local areas, not only to make the youth and the middle-aged people literate, but also elderly people, because we also need to take account them in order make them more active citizens.
exactly, exactly. That's a really valid point because again, it is a community-based, I would say, a learning, a venture where people can learn from each other. Kamala, I have another question. If you like to answer that, do you think we
Yeah.
should continue and develop more digital-oriented stuff for better resilience? Because right now, we have already seen a lot of digital boom. But do you think in the future we need more of it, or we should stop here? What do you think about it?
I think the process of becoming digitally literate is very important and would be very paramount in the future too, because I believe that this process never stops, but it exponentially grows in the coming years too. So, as digital literacy has enabled communities to connect and communicate with each other quickly and easily, and also it could help us actively participate and be very active citizen of our communities. I think
Mhm.
it never stops being important. It never
Ah,
loses its essence.
Ah,
in the future
right,
too.
right. So we can sense a female Elon Musk from Uzbekistan. We wish you good luck for your future endeavors.
I have another couple of questions, I would say.
Mm-hmm,
So, before you just pointed out the solutions that we could take in order to make people more digitally literate, but you also have mentioned the most important task is people, first of all, should have digital like gadgets, computers, or phones in order to be uh, skillful. However,
mm-hmm.
what type of other obstacles might be encountered while promoting this digital literacy skills?
Yeah. So the first ones are actually they are quite definitive that people do not have gadgets and people do not they don't have the internet connections. Even if, for example, if we are if we are living in the capital of a country or we are living in a major metropolitan city, we have this access towards the internet and the computers and the different digital platforms as well. We have the
Yes.
awareness, but the main thing is that Kamola, that people from the suburbs or the people living far flung in the far flung areas, they do not have that much of knowledge, that much of awareness about the digital literacy. They do not even think that digital literacy is important. However,
Yes.
the world is expanding dynamically and really fast. um, People need to have this awareness first that digital literacy is something, and especially in the post-pandemic era, and in this time, digital literacy has become a necessity in our life. As you have said that it can never lose its essence and it is going to stay forever in our community. I would say that there are 4 to 5 obstacles that I would enlist over here. The first one
Mm-hmm.
is about the awareness that people do not actually know how important is digital literacy. The second one is about the infrastructure. Like, for example, in the developing or the underdeveloped countries, there is no such infrastructure that can provide trainings to people about digital literacy, about the computer usage, and all of that. The third thing is about the acceptance of digital world. Okay, you accept that, I accept that, our parents accept that, but there have been a lot of people
Yes.
who do not want to be on the social media. Okay, it's fine not to be on the social media, but they do not even want to read on online websites, and they do not want to approach there, and they do not see it as important. So we have to build that. Again, it's a kind of resilience. The fourth one, the obstacle I see is that the acceptance, which is about digital literacy. That okay, if I
Mm.
have become a digital literate person, how and where I can apply that knowledge. Okay, I cannot be no one can be always a freelancer or can be a digital media head or can be doing marketing on social media, but there should be some other avenues as well. So it is quite a limited space, which is definitely expanding, but to convince the people, it is another obstacle. And one last thing, Kamala, I would say that uh, we have to be, digital literacy comes with its pros and cons as well. So the other con that I see is the malfunction or the unethical ways of using the digital platforms. So I think
Yes.
that we have to have some safety and security that can be a big obstacle towards digital literacy. That's how I think about it.
Yes, I do agree. I definitely agree with the points that you have mentioned. I think it's very important, is first of all, of course, to raise awareness about the importance of these types of skills. Do you have any kind of questions for me?
Yes, Kamala, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I would be actually going for one last question that actually I think is really important. Uh,
All right.
with which I would say that we will it will be a crux of this podcast. What will be your takeaway message or giveaway message? I would say that's more appropriate, and points for the audience who are listening to this podcast.
Um, okay. As we are living in a digital society, I point out the important aspects of having digital literacy skills. So, first of all, digital literacy enables individuals effectively navigate digital tools and platforms, which is very essential for work, education, communication. And secondly, people with digital literacy skills are better prepared to find job opportunities in the growing digital economy. because nowadays workplace and industries increasingly depends on technology and online platforms. And furthermore, being digitally literate allows individuals to access important resources and services remotely. So there would be no need for physical interaction. And the last one is digital literacy empowers individuals to critically evaluate and consume online information. And it helps them to make informed decisions and avoid the pitfalls of misinformation and fake news. So I would say digital literacy is very important in building resilience.
Perfect. I would definitely agree with this. Thank you so much, Kamola. Well, folks, that's all for today. Thank you to our listeners for joining us on this journey towards a more resilient future. Stay tuned for our next episodes where we will explore other aspects of building resilience in the post COVID era with other fantastic hosts from incredible Group 1 of the Global Youth Summit. Until then, stay innovative and stay brilliant. Thank you so much from me and from Kamola. Take care.